All right, so we live, and the weather shot up like crazy. Well, not like crazy, but it definitely shot up. So I just got horrible sinus, like headache right now. I have a horrible sinus headache. So I'm I'm only gonna be on for an hour. Let's say that. I always say that, and it always ends up going longer, but fuck it. So no video, no OBS thing, anything like that, because I don't feel like fucking with that, honestly. And I'm just gonna just do a ask me anything and talk about the games that I'm playing. What's up, man? What's up, Elijah? Trying to find my own live stream. Here we go. So I can see if the audio's right. Yeah. What's up, As Diatom? As Diatom. You look bald today. Yeah, it's a new hairstyle I got called Luscious Locks, and it's only for VIP. Why do girls like your social media posts but take 1,000 hours to respond? She just wants somebody to pay her attention. That's all. But she don't want to actually ask for it. She don't want to. She just might want somebody to pay her attention. That's all. Oh, but I did want to talk about. I finally beat Celeste, which is a 2D game. You just jump and dash, and it was like I've historically always been terrible at 2D games like Mega Man, all that shit. Like I could get kind of far in Mega Man, but for the most part, 2D games like Street Fighter, anything 2D, I just historically have always been awful at. So I've made a personal goal of mine to start getting good at some 2D games. So I played Celeste. I beat the main story of Celeste, but I heard it gets harder after the main story. But for me, just beating the main story was enough because historically I've been awful at 2D games. So I beat Celeste. I beat Katana Zero, which was actually pretty fun. But like most 2D games, like they gotta like exploit some jankiness to keep difficulty up, or else it's just gonna be like the same shit. So like Katana Zero was good, but it definitely got like either severe jank or just we're gonna make something so awkwardly informed that you'll never figure out how to pass it unless you Google it. Like Katana Zero didn't get that bad. To be fair, Zelda does that a lot. And that's why I don't play. That's why I could never give a Zelda game anything above a 6 or 7 because of that fact. Like they always hit that point where, like, there is absolutely no way a human can figure out how to beat this like on their own type of shit. It's just absolutely no, and that's why I could never give a Zelda. It's always for that one part it's like they do it on purpose to get people to like make websites. I bet it's like some type of marketing gimmick to do that because they can't be that dumb, right? In every Zelda game, there's a part where there's absolutely every Zelda that I played, there's a part where there's just absolutely no way you could know what to possibly do, right? Like I mean, absolutely none. And if I had to guess, that's probably like a marketing tactic to get people talking about it, asking around to get the name going higher and higher. Like, oh, what's this game called Metroid or Zelda? Like, is everybody keeps talking about they lost, and I bet I could figure it out. I bet that's why. Now that I think about it, I bet that's why they do it. And that's the exact reason why I can never give any Zelda game anything above a 6 or a 7 because of, like I'm playing Tears of the Kingdom now, and that water, it was like to find that whole water mission was just absolutely awful, man. What's up, Daniel? That whole water mission. Well, I've heard water missions and other ones were terrible too, but it's just awful. Like, but not beat Celeste. I was proud of that personally. That was an accomplishment for me because I'm awful at 2D games, and I beat Katana Zero. I was playing Hades, and I just kind of got sidetracked by Celeste, honestly. And I just haven't made it back to secure because I'm actually right now I'm playing Cuphead. Right before I started this live stream, I was playing Cuphead, and I just got stuck again. I'm in an airplane and I'm like chasing like a dog in a train or some shit. I don't know. It's a wild game, dude. But I'm chasing like a dog in a train or some shit like that, and I'm in a plane. Like I just got to that, like, guess boss fight or whatever it is. Um, But for the most part, I really enjoyed the Cuphead. I feel like it's a lot of random shit, but at the same time, if I feel like it's fair because like I said with Zelda, like Zelda difficulty usually isn't fair difficulty. It's just like you have to read my mind difficulty, and like okay, in my opinion, with video games, there's I say three different types of difficulty, right? One type of difficulty is we're just not going to we're going to make the information so cryptic that nobody can possibly figure this out difficult, right? And Zelda's fall into that. I say like the few Metroids that I played because I really enjoy Metroid, but it always gets back to that same theory. Typically Nintendo games are like that. They'll hit this point where there's absolutely no way you could even know what to do. Um, that difficulty, in my opinion, is just difficulty through just a complete lack of information given to the player. Like, I mean, on like catastrophic levels type of shit. Like, not just because you just didn't pay attention to a clue. Like, there was no clue to even pay attention to. Like, there was just no way you could have known. So, one, I would say lack of information. That's one type of difficulty. Two would be like Madden level difficulty. Like Madden, if you play Madden on like all Madden, like it's just pathetically bad. That difficulty is they programmed the computer to just get a boost in stats to beat you, right? Because there's a guy on YouTube named Ryan Moody. I used to watch him years ago, Ryan Moody, and he used to cover Madden games, and he would just show how Madden was just like blatantly cheap. And I used to do it back when I was younger, playing on PS2, right? You play on all Madden, and let's say you throw an interception, right? And the computer could just run at like light speed if it feels like it to get a touchdown. Whereas like you can literally switch over what team you have control over to the team who got the interception, and all of a sudden they'll just hawk you, they'll just chase you down like it's nothing. Like Madden, EA Sports is pathetic. Like that difficulty is like we'll just program the computer to just do it to just stop you, and there's nothing you can do, and we'll chalk it up as oh you made a mistake type of shit, or like whenever you throw passes, the computer was just like extravagant at it, just intercepting passes. It's just ridiculous, just complete mind reading. Like for example, when I play Madden, right? Because I used to be real into football, so it's the little things I pay attention to. So I remember one time I was playing a friend of mine online. I was playing him in Madden. This is when I was living in Chescalipa, I think, or somewhere. I can't remember. No, I think I was in Ohio when I played him. And I had him beat, right? I called hike. And I had one-on-one, man, it wasn't his own defense. He wasn't running, it was a man-on-man defense, right? And what I'm gonna look for if I'm throwing a ball, even in real life, if I'm getting ready to throw a ball, if I'm playing quarterback, like in backyard football or something like that, the first thing I'm looking for is who is where that person's eyes are looking and where his head is looking, right? So for those of you who play football, if you're the quarterback, right, and you looking at if your wide receiver is looking at you, but the defense player is looking on down the field, that's just as good as having a wide open wide receiver, right? Because he can't see where the ball is, right? So in Madden, I tried to use actual real logic, and I call hike, and he was running man-to-man defense, and his player helmet was like looking at the end zone, and my wide receiver was looking like this, right? So I was like, oh, I got him beat. I just threw it up there. His player never even turned. His player's head kept looking this way, and then like magically went like this. I'm like, what? How did you even see it? It's bullshit. Like EA Sports it's pathetic trash. Like it's garbage. All right. And I say the third type of difficulty, the third type of difficulty, in my opinion, and I'm gonna make somebody mad with this because I'm playing one of their games right now, and I just haven't made it back to it. Is the third type of difficulty is a game exploiting movements that it really shouldn't be doing. I mean, like you could just tell, like they shouldn't even be doing this, and they'll fuck around and build a difficulty system off it. I'm looking at you, Dark Souls and Bloodborne. like This is not difficult. You just made awkward ass movements that doesn't even feel right. Like there is nothing comfortable about. I played Bloodborne. There was nothing comfortable about that game. That game just from the ground up. Like, and that's what the old Resident Evils was like that. The old Resident Evils was that up was always forward bullshit. So it's just like you be somebody be like right here, getting ready to kill you. You be talking about something. That's not difficulty. That's just being a fucking asshole. All right. And programming. That's not difficult. You're just being a fucking asshole. It's the control. Like I said, with that, I don't even like I kind of want to play Elden Ring just to, try it out. But I already know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be like, fuck this shit, and I'm never gonna touch it again. But I like Sekiro, even though Sekiro kind of has that same undertone. The sword that makes it kind of cool, but it's still like this real jank looking. The game doesn't look complete. You know what I mean? Like, but it's difficult. Like the motherfucker nothing ever feels right. Like if motherfuckers was honest about Elden Ring and Dark Souls and Bloodborne, they would say like, yeah. Like nothing ever feels right about the game. Nothing ever feels like it should move how it should. It never does, right? Unless you just get fully adapted to it. Like I just can't stand this shit. But I like Sekiro. I'm gonna make myself beat Sekiro though, because actually where I got stuck at a Sekiro was if anybody's played that game, it's this big ass snake, which is a beautiful game, and it's a beautiful game as far as what it does get right. And it's this big ass snake, and I made it down there, and I didn't know where to go, and I think I just kind of said fuck it. And no, then that's when I segued into Celeste, and I got stuck on Celeste, and I made myself beat that. I beat it last night or 2 nights ago, I can't remember, but it was 2 nights ago. But I had to YouTube what to do. I just didn't know what to do. And it was another one of those jank ass. There's no way I could have known to do this way out. Like supposedly there's some other thing you could grapple onto on the side of in the side of the inside of the mountain and when I looked at all the comments, everybody had that same problem. Now see situations like that. Like I really wish game developers would go in the comment sections or look up like common problems with games. Like if you reach a point where like the entire comment section is saying, yeah, I didn't know what to do here either. I was completely lost. If that has happened, you have failed, right? At least in that section. Right. Because it's not my job to read your mind. All right. I'm not employing YouTube and Google for this shit. Well, nowadays, I guess they could be more money for them, right? Because if the game is copyrighted for them, they could use that as YouTube as a YouTube revenue stream. That could, I mean, depending on how they do it, if they play it, that could work out. But yeah, I'm gonna make myself play Sekiro. I can last with Sekiro. What's up, Anthony? What's up, Batuhan? I hope I pronounced that right. Linebackers jumping 20 feet in the air to get picks. Yeah, JDM. I fucking hate that, man. That man on all because it was like either all-star level was just too fucking easy, or all Madden was like, we gonna read your motherfucking mind whenever we feel like it difficult. Now there was one Madden, I can't remember that. It was one Madden that I had where I figured out a glitch in it where like my running back averaged 9.7 yards a rush, and they just couldn't stop. Like the computer couldn't stop it. But the thing was, like, it was still Madden when I throw the ball. So like they would just mind read me for picks or just like make my player not catch the ball or some retarded shit like that, right? So like it would still be regular old Madden when I would throw the ball, but when I would run the ball, like I remember I figured out I don't think it was a glitch. It was one Madden where when I would run like right up the middle every time, some kind of way I had to I learned a way to look at the screen because I could tell where all the linemen's feet, if they all shifted like one way, then I knew to run to the left, and they all shifted the other way. I knew how to like run up the hole, and I would always get up. And my running, I had Steven Jackson on the Falcons. I think that's his name. And I remember I averaged 9.7 yards a rush with him, like because the computer just like it was a fault in the programming, and I figured out how to exploit it. But the thing, I couldn't throw it, right? Because it was still Madden, right? So I couldn't throw it. So I had to just run. So the only tactic I had to win in Madden in the franchise mode that year was I had to run. I had to run. And time it just right so the computer wouldn't have enough time, because they gonna score if they want to score, because Madden's been a piece of shit for fucking 20 years, even longer, right? It's so the computer, if the computer wants to score, it's gonna score. So the only way I figured out how to win was I had to time it like literally just right. Like I had to run out the play clock so the computer didn't have a chance to score, and that was the only way I could figure out to win. Because throwing it, I mean, I'm sure somebody out there figured out is like really good at throwing it on Madden, but I just don't think it's even worth. I don't think it's worth the time and frustration for a 20-year-old football game that really should have ironed out those kinks 15 goddamn years ago, right? Uh, are you interested in Armored Core 6? Yes, Nuclear Bomb. Yes, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna play that soon. I'm gonna play because coming up next is was it Starfield, Forza Motorsport, and Armored Core. And I want to say there's another game that's coming out that I mentioned, but there's definitely a big lineup of games coming out over the next like 2-3 months, maybe even 4 months. There's Mario. There's a new Mario coming out. I won't play that on the Switch because it's kind of like this weird, like it's not cell shaded, but it just has I don't know what you call it, but it's a cool. I like how it looks. I won't play at Mario. It's definitely a lineup of games coming out. But yeah, I'm interested in Armored Core 6. I tried playing Armored Core on an emulator from the Xbox 360, and I just couldn't even do it, man. Like now this is another topic that I like to touch on, how Nintendo ages well. Right now, they always have some part where they put some bullshit in it where there's no way you could have known to get past a certain part. But in my opinion, Nintendo games age great, except for the Nintendo 64. For the most part. Now, I still don't like that. What's this? This game that I bought and I hated it, and now they selling for like double. I bought this. Just because I had never played Mario Sunshine. I didn't know how to emulate at the time, so I bought it. So I wanted to, because I always wanted to play Mario Sunshine. I always wanted to play it, man. Always wanted to play it. And for one reason or another, I never got to a GameCube. I never owned a GameCube. So through emulation, now I can play I started that Metroid. But anyway, back to this. Like Super Mario Galaxy is still great. It's still a great game. Mario 64, in my opinion, Super Mario 64 was great when it came out, but it, like trying to play it now is just like it's not unplayable, but it's definitely not fun. As like how I remembered it when I could get much further when I was a kid too. I was playing Mario 64. I still can't beat that level where you got to race that penguin down that in that thing. I can't beat it. I always fall off. I got to start all the way back over. I can't beat it. And Mario Sunshine is just like, I don't know what that's supposed to be. I always had something else envisioned in my head of what Mario Sunshine was going to be for real. But Super Mario Sunshine is like, I see why people say that's not a Mario game, and I totally get it. Like it's just not. I just don't, the way he moves, everything about it, just nothing. I don't even know how they got away with calling that shit a Mario game because it's just not Mario. But Mario Galaxy is great. I can still blindly recommend that to anybody who plays a video game. I think Mario Galaxy is still great. 80, you could emulate those. Yeah, I didn't know how to. I didn't know how to do it back then. I just never looked into it, never tried. Now I emulate now because I'm playing. I have a GameCube emulator and I'm playing or a Dolphin and I'm playing Metroid. Well, I have it Metroid. I had an emulator a while back and I was playing Luigi's Mansion, but it would fuck up at some part, so I never finished it. But that Luigi's Mansion on GameCube was great. The Luigi's Mansion on the Switch, I did not care for that shit at all. And it was so bad, like I showed my girl both of them, and I didn't tell her which one was which. And I think on YouTube, and she liked the one on GameCube better than the one on Nintendo. I just didn't care for that. I traded that motherfucker in. It's rare that I'll trade a game in that I buy without finishing. The Last of Us 2 was one, and that Luigi's Mansion on the Switch. I just didn't care for it, man. I thought it looked great. It looked amazing. But I just didn't. Luigi's Mansion on GameCube was, in my opinion, far better. Did you? No, I didn't remove any videos. I never finished Luigi's Mansion as a kid. I think I died the last boss and never bothered to turn on the game again. Did you give Assassin's Creed Unity another chance? No. I always think I'm gonna like Unity, and I just don't. The only Assassin's Creed I genuinely had fun with until it got to like this horrible like level system that just like pretty much shuts you out of all missions was Origins. That was the only Assassin's Creed game that I genuinely. I haven't played Black Flag though, so to be fair, I've never played that. I played Rogue, the one that was like pretty much like Black Flag light type of shit. But I never played actual Black Flag, so I can't speak for Black Flag. But the only Assassin's Creed I ever genuinely enjoyed, and I felt like was like the story was well told. I knew what was going on. You know what I mean? Because I think that's the biggest part for the other Assassin's Creed games is I never know what the fuck is going on. Like I was just when I kind of start realizing what's going on, then something else just gets thrown in there. I'm like, what the fuck? In Unity, I could never figure out like a lot of shit. I just couldn't figure it. The map was just polluted with tons of icons. I had no. If I would take a mission, I didn't know. Like I just couldn't figure out anything in the goddamn game. It was just awful. I just I enjoy watching people play it. If other people, I will watch YouTube players play it all the time. And I think it looks great. It looks amazing. But Unity, man, I would just get like I just couldn't figure out anything. It was just too much. Like because again, like I just don't like Ubisoft, man. Because Ubisoft's been on this kick of just we'll just mimic anything anybody else is doing, and if that doesn't work, then we'll just make a game with a billion things to do in it and hope people like it, right? And they've been on this kick pretty much since after they lost that whole Prince of Persia time period when they had that sense of originality. Pretty much after that, they've just been the great value brand of video games for the most part, and I just don't care for Ubisoft. I just don't care for it. Now I got Unity on Steam. I paid $5 for it. It was on sale. It was on a Steam sale. So I got on PC, and I just don't know what's going on. I just don't get it. I mean, he never. And I think that's kind of why. That's another reason maybe why I liked Origins more was because just a thing. I think that's kind of why I care for Origins more because it wasn't anywhere near as focused on parkour. So like all that clunkiness just wasn't thrown in my face so much to add to the fact that the story in Origins was pretty straightforward. The only where Origins fell off for me was once you get like I think once you get become higher, I think maybe I was like level like 30 or something. Like I was getting like I progressed pretty far in the game, much further than any other Assassin's Creed ever held my attention for, much further. But it gets to this part where if you're not in that level to do a mission and you try the mission, like you're just gonna get fucking raped like every time. There's no way you can like even like you just can't kill anybody. Like you probably could if you tried hard enough and long enough to figure it out. But it just gets and I was watching another reviewer and they said the same thing. Like it gets to this part where like if you're not like exactly level 39 or higher, then like you can't do anything. You're just so you have to so it forces you to go back and do like other missions to level up. And that's where Origins lost me. That's where I just uninstalled it because I had it on Xbox Game Pass. Just uninstalled it, deleted it, never touched it again. But I really enjoyed it. What's up, Black Panther? What's up, Javi? What's up, Black? What's up, Anthony? With Ubisoft, I'm more Far Cry. Okay, to be fair, I've never played Far Cry. I never played it. With my experiences with Ubisoft, like my first thoughts is Far Cry is just going to be some mimicked game, right? Because that's just my experience with Ubisoft. But I've never played it. I never played it. I know people really enjoy it. I think I played an online demo a while back, and it was pretty fun. Um, but it's to the point. If I see Ubisoft, I expect there to be. It's almost like playing like an EA Sports game. Like I expect to be some bullshit coming, right? Like it's like I'm gonna play it the whole time expecting some cheat, either something cheap or something severely underdeveloped to happen. Like it's never gonna like there's not gonna okay, one thing is certain, I'm never gonna feel any sense of originality with it. Like something's not gonna move right. Something's not gonna look right. It's this certain. The only sense of originality Ubisoft has is that they know how to like make something not work in their way, type of shit. In again, from my history, from my experiences dealing with them, like something's just not gonna feel right or look right or move right, and that's how you go. Yep, that's Ubisoft. That's them. And to be fair, I did like Phoenix Immortals, and I had that on Xbox Game Pass. But what now the downside about PC, which is another reason why I can definitely see why people prefer to pirate, is because when you get games on PC, a lot of times you have to get them through like you have to like sign up for like Ubisoft's like was it UB Connect or some shit like that or EA's fucking like if you go on Xbox Game Pass, you can download any game you want, right? But in order to run the game, you have to log in through EA's fucking software to actually open the game, right? And sometimes their software may not link up right with the Xbox Game Pass, or I don't forgot my password to log into the EA Sports thing, and I got to do all this whole thing of recovering the password, and that never fucking works out, as easy as you think it should work, type of thing, and it just ends up being this hassle. So like that's another reason. Another reason why on Xbox Game Pass I usually steer clear of Ubisoft and EA games because of that reason, because they want you to log in through their whole bullshit to open the fucking game, right? Just let me I want to click and go. All right. And that's another reason why I completely understand why people on PC they rather just pirate it. You get it for free and you don't have to deal with that bullshit. Or just I get it. Like I totally get it. Other Ubisofts give it a saying, word up. The Far Cry 3 was the best game of all time. Professor Chaos, yeah, man. People. What's up, Jim? A lot of people do like swear by Far Cry. I've just been let down so much by Ubisoft. I'm just too afraid to even like give it any extended attention. I'm just too afraid to devote any time to it, honestly, because it's just you. Like, I'm sure it's great. People swear by it. You'll see posters up with the dude and with his daughter. I guess it's his daughter in it or something like that. People swear by it, man. Ubisoft has just burned too many bridges with me in the past. Pretty much since the first Prince of Persia. That was, in my opinion, that was the last Ubisoft game that had its own. It had its own personality. It had its own charisma. That was the sands of time. That was the last Ubisoft game that I can remember. Okay, there was one first-person shooter. What's it called? Bulletproof? Hang on, let me look it up real fast. I used to love that game. And that was Bulletproof? It's looking at 50 Cent Bulletproof. It was a first-person shooter. Hang on. I'm on Google right now, so I can't see any comments. I think it was an EA game. I'm pretty sure it was an EA game, like Bulletproof or something. But it was real wild, man, and I really enjoyed. And I think it was EA because yeah, I'm pretty sure it was EA because I remember when I was playing it, I was playing through it expecting there to be some janky cheating bullshit, and only EA does that well. Like there's EA does like programmed cheating very well, and you always know it's them, type of thing when you experience it. Like I don't even have to know who made the game. If I could play the game and I can just experience it, I can feel that this is Electronic Arts, because they always since NBA Live 98, 99. It's pretty much since the time they put Jordan in NBA Live. Pretty much, I think that was right at that time period where they converted to just like program cheating kind of thing. They just made it was just literally like it was bullshit. Because remember, there was an NBA Live where you had to beat Jordan to be able to unlock him, and I think right around that time period was when it was just like it was bullshit. Because NBA Live 90, pretty much any basketball game before that was super easy when you played against a computer on the hardest level. All you had to do was just pump fake, keep pump faking until they jumped, and then just run around them and dunk. That's all you had to do, right? And that Jordan game, I think that was NBA Live 2001, 2002, maybe. No, 2002 was the one where it went pretty much a total arcade. I think NBA Live 2002 was the one where it just went, or 2003 where they just went totally arcade with it. It wasn't even anything. They didn't even try to make it a simulator at that point. But I think that was around the time when the dunk contest took back off and Vince Carter came in the league and all that. But Bulletstorm, that's it, Mike. Yeah, Bulletstorm, that's it. Bulletstorm. I mean, that game was because he has his foot because he would like kick motherfuckers. I remember I took a chance on Bulletstorm and ended up loving it. That was a classic game. Here's the weird part about Bulletstorm is I thought it was a great game when I played it maybe 10, 15 years ago now. I thought it was a great game. And I remember back then thinking it's not going to get popular because it doesn't have that EA cheating bullshit in it. Right. But it was a fun, like that game was great. That game, I'm pretty sure that's EA. Was that? Yep, Electronic Arts. Yep. Because I remember playing it and thinking like I was waiting for the bullshit to happen because I knew EA had, because I remember I had to even like look up to see did EA actually make this because this is actually pretty fucking good. And you know, it's not, I don't feel jankiness, cheating bullshit in it. But yeah, I already, if you like they selling it here from $5 in Czech Republic. See shopping. I'm gonna click on this. Can y'all still see me? I'm looking on Google now. Yo, that game is. It's like, oh man, that game is definitely. Well, I don't know. Maybe it didn't age well. I'll say that. Maybe it didn't age well, but that game was definitely worth more than $10. That was great. I'll tell you. Okay, another game. Now, this is a controversial topic in the video game world, but Digital Foundry just made a video about revisiting the game called on PlayStation 4 called The Order 1886, right? And that's a controversial game because I remember when that came out, motherfuckers was mad because they was expecting something else, and I enjoyed it. I thought The Order 1886 was. I thought it still looks great now. Because Digital Foundry, they did a video, and the video was in 1080 on YouTube, and it still looked great on full screen through YouTube. So in real life, that motherfucker looks amazing, dude. Like The Order 1886, it just wasn't like packed. Motherfuckers was expecting like packed to the wall action and all that. That game was art. That game was more art and theater first. Not theater in the sense of like flamboyant shit, but theater more in the sense of like maybe like a Dunkirk slash Godfather type of movie, right? Like the camera work, the work and the graphics and the lighting and the sound. Like he went into all that in Digital Foundry too, because I felt the same way back when I played it when it came out. That game was art. I loved it. It wasn't action packed. It wasn't, it was nothing real new about the actual game mechanics, nothing like that. But it was a beautiful game, right? Not in that artistic way, but yeah, it was artistic. Not in that modern artistic way. It was beautiful in the sense of just what they were able to squeeze out of a PlayStation 4. And no, I don't think anybody else has made a game on PlayStation, had made a game on PlayStation 4 that even came close to that to date. I thought it was great. I loved it. I loved it because it was, dude, that game was lore. It was lore intense, right? And if I remember correctly, they were pretty much. If I remember correctly, I could be a little wrong because it's been probably about a decade since I played it. But if I remember correctly, it was something like they were pretty much the Men in Black, but there was like vampires or in the town or some shit like that, and it was kind of steampunk. Yeah, it was like a steampunk, but it was a beautiful game, man. It really was. But you had to play it like along the same games like the Order 1886 and Detroit Becoming Humans, like those types of games. Those types of games didn't get anywhere near the praise they should have got because when they came out, that was when internet play for like Call of Duty and Battlefield became easily accessible, and Fortnite became easily accessible to everybody. Just go online and play it, right? In my opinion, I think that's why games like those heavy rain types of games and all that never really had a good time of taking off because that online and that I call it the military draft in disguise. That Call of Duty, Battlefields, and all them games like that, all that shit took off. So it left that theatrical shit, that lore driven theatrical shit got left behind. Unless you was, if I had to guess, maybe unless you was into like Diablo or some shit like that. Well, I don't know if I don't think Diablo's like. I think you can get into the lore. I never was a Diablo fan. A friend of mine, that motherfucker was crazy about Diablo, but I never really got into it. I did want to play the newest one just to try it out, but yeah, the Order 1886, it never got it because people wanted something more action. So I remember when that game came out, they were live streaming it, and it was just like a walking simulator because that's what it was. The beginning of the game was just a lot of walking because it was just like look at the technical ability what they were able to pull off with this type of hardware at the time, something that interactive, right? Oh yeah, it was short on that. Yeah, the order, it wasn't a long game. It was probably about I think about 6 8 hours, something like that. It wasn't long at all. And on top of that, there was no real replayability behind it. And it's one of those things like I couldn't recommend you spending $50 on something like that, even though it looked beautiful. A game like that with the ability like for replayability, like there couldn't have been very much. There just I don't think the game was even made to be played online at all. There's no replayability, no online play, and it was short. And those three things also killed it for them trying to ask a full premium price for that. Like that's what killed it. I think if well, I mean, hindsight's always 2020. But if they had walked out there and asked about $25 $30 for it, it probably would have sold a lot more. People probably wouldn't have been so hesitant to buy it. But I loved it. I still want a part two. I loved it. I thought it was I thought it was great for what it was. It was again, it was art first and then it was a video game second. But I loved it. I thought it was okay. The Order 1886 was okay, yeah. The Order 1886 was pretty much The Last of Us. It's how I remember The Last of Us looking when I first played it on PS3. Right? Like but if I go back and look at the first Last of Us now, it looks like shit. But like, but that's how I remember what it looked like, right? The Last of Us was pretty much a boost on everything except maybe just like the dynamics of the story. But like as far as like how the character moved, what they did, a lot of it was if I remember right, it was in the same ballpark, right? But The Last of Us had the story was great, and the first Last of Us was great. That's just gonna always be a classic. I'm really looking forward to Starfield. I've been wanting a game I can get lost in for 100 hours. Oh, you should try. I don't know if you tried No Man's Sky, but No Man's Sky is great for that, man. No Man's Sky is just here's the thing. No Man's Sky is just so massive. Like I can't even bring up the courage to to log back in and see what because there was a lot before. Now they've added all types of shit again to it. Like it's just so much in No Man's Sky. It's just so massive. I'm just scared to go back in, and I won't even know how to complete an objective anymore, right? Because this guy they didn't change so much shit. I'd rather just move on to something else. But yes, Starfield. I want to play Starfield too. Um, one thing that's important to me about those space games, one thing that's important to me about space game, and this is one thing that I was disappointed in Starfield though. What's really important to me is just that feeling that I can just fly into the planet, right? And I'm controlling it, or I can leave from the planet and just aim up and just leave the planet, and it's legitimately. Now, No Man's Sky does an absolutely unbelievable job in the little things that you did that you wouldn't even pay attention to unless somebody had brought your attention to it. Like, for example, when you're in a solar system, right, and it's like a planet here and a planet here, when you fly down to that planet, directly down, and look up, that planet's gonna be right there, like where it should be. It's not gonna be like, like disappear or no shit like that. So like it was all the little things about No Man's Sky that was just like that really was just. And that again, I played No Man's Skies since it first came out. I was living in Ohio when it first came out because I remember that, and people hated it, and I loved it. I loved it from the very first release. I loved it, and because like, again, to get that feeling that when you're looking at a computer, because I was playing on my computer on a fucking 30, I don't know, it was like a 30 inch, 26, 30-inch screen, and the attention to detail and art that they would have had to come up with to make it feel like you're actually looking at a fucking dense fucking planet, and you can feel the weight of it as you fly up to it on a 26-inch screen. Yo, they did an amazing fucking job with that. Now, back then, there wasn't anywhere near as much, different shit. It was all the same shit. You just went to a planet, collect resources, and moved on. There was like literally nothing in it back then. So now it's just so much shit in it now. I don't even know where to start again. Oh, but if you like games like, oh man, like a game like No Man's Sky, you could just. But okay. But I think a downside is it's more of a survival game. But I think you can turn off the survival part. You can just like have unlimited fuel and all that shit, and just fly wherever you want. But where I started out with was what's important to me is that you can fly from a planet like directly to the sky, or fly directly to the sky into the planet, relatively speaking, seamlessly, right? And what I heard from Starfield early on was that they said in their game you're not going to be allowed to do. They didn't think that was important. So like when you want to fly down to a planet, you just click, do you want to go to this planet? Hit yes, and then you just hit a load screen and you be on the planet type of shit. like I think for me that's, if I had to guess, because I haven't played it, but for me I think that's going to really take me out of it, because I want to actually, because there was a game, was it Starlink? I got on Nintendo Switch. You could do it on Nintendo Switch. There was a game I think called Starlink or something like that, and I think it was a great. But you just stay in the plane. You can't get out the plane. No, you just stay in the plane, and but it was a really highly customizable. It was a spaceship. It was a really highly customizable like Star. It was pretty much Star Fox, but you can like really switch out the different weapons. And it was, I thought it was a great game that never got recognition it deserved. But in that game, you could just fly all throughout space, get in the fights, fly down to the planet, fly off. The boss fights were great. I forget. I think I got stuck on something, and I just kind of like forgot about it and never went back to it. But I still got it on Switch because I remember I bought it online on a sale, so I still have it on my Switch. I just never went back to it. But it was a great game though, if you like that kind of shit. Starfield is definitely going to have 16 times the detail. Oh yeah, yeah, nuclear bomb. Yeah, it's definitely going to look a lot better. It's definitely going to look a lot better. For yeah. I want to try. I want to play it. I want to play it for sure. Um, yeah, I definitely want to play it. But like, if you want to get lost again, No Man's Skies is the first game I could think of that would just that would definitely do it. Now, I've always wanted to play the game called Ark, but I never, and it's on Xbox Game Pass, but I just feel like it's going to be too much, and I just end up every time I want to download it, I just go, I play it later, because it's another one of those survival games. And supposedly in the game Ark, you like start off it's pretty much like a caveman, and you build your technology like all the way up, and the world develops all around you type of shit. Which I always wanted to do, but I just don't want to invest that much time into it unless I hit some random streak to do it. But another game that was pretty great was Spore. It was an old game, and I played that not about probably about a year ago. Spore was really good. Even the little things that I had to like really think about. But Spore was a and that was an EA game, but that was an unexpected, really great experience. I didn't beat it. Or I don't know if you can beat it, but I didn't beat it. But Spore was really good. I would recommend Spore to anybody. Diddy Kong Racing was under. Word up. Oh yeah, Professor Chaos. Yeah, I would yeah, man. If you want to get like super duper lost, yeah, No Man's Sky is definitely on the list for sure, man. 80 to order look great. Oh wait, I'm back. I have a friend, no drift. What's up? It says I have a friend that badmouths me to his girlfriend. He sends her badmouths me to his girlfriend. He sends her messy pictures of my kitchen to try to make himself look good. What would you do? I don't really care, but I like your take. I mean, at that point, now on a direct interpersonal situation, yeah, like that's definitely gonna cause some friction. But okay, yeah, that's definitely gonna cause some friction. Now, if the kitchen's just dirty and maybe he doesn't like dirty kid, I don't know. I don't know. But in the end, if your name keeps coming up, if you keep coming up, right, and you not there, and he's like, and it's coming up with her, the reality of it is, it's making her like you more, right? Now she'll try to pretend that she doesn't, but it's making her get more interested in you, right? Matter of fact, okay, remember when I told you guys, I took that girl from her boyfriend? Um, well, I remember we had ended up breaking up for a minute, and she left, and she went back to move in with her boyfriend, with the other guy, right? I could get into details if anybody's interested about that, but anyway, so she went back to move in with him, and this dude, I remember when she moved in with me, she was like roasting the guy, like not roasting to his face, but like she would put him on speakerphone, right? And he'd be like crying on the phone, and or tell her how he was like so fucked up. He slept on like park benches and shit like overnight because he was so fucked up that she left and all this. And she'd be playing on speaker, and she'd be like holding back laughs, like I'm not, dude, I'm not. It's like I'm saying, women are awful, dude. She's like holding the phone up on speakerphone, and she's like, "Tell me to come here, listen to it." And she's like over here, like trying not to bust out laughing while he's like crying on the phone and telling her, telling her how fucked up he is. And yeah, that shit was wild. So anyway, so she ends up going back to him, right? And I remember when she came back, she goes, "Yeah, she told me, she goes, yeah, when I went with him, all he would ever talk about was you. All he'd ever say is how I changed. It was all her boy all the boyfriend would say is how she changed after she got with me. Right? She just wasn't the same anymore. Blah blah da da da. Right? But the point I tried to make out of that whole rant was that, see, that when a man, okay, if your friend were to just be quiet about it, and just say it like one time, like, "Oh my god, I hate going over there," or whatever. Maybe the kitchen's dirty, maybe the bathroom smells, whatever the fuck. If he would just say it one time and then leave it alone, then it would be like a much bigger thing. But the fact that he keeps doing it, right? That's making her think about you more, right? Now with the friend, I mean, at that point, I mean, that's up to you. You could decide to just like, not talk to him, whatever. But in that whole dynamic of the scenario, he's gonna end up running her to you because he keeps talking about you. Hey D, what would you say is the right way to interact with brothel chicks? Like going beyond just a customer and getting extra benefits. Well, Kevin, okay. One thing, okay, this is one thing. This is a big thing that I learned. Like you learn real fast in these places, right? So how do you deal with these scenarios? It's usually it's the woman who picks you. You want the woman to pick you, right? You want the woman to come next to you and start sitting down when you didn't ask her to come sit down. That's what you want. And especially in a place like a brothel, you don't want, I mean, you can have like just a personality to want to talk, but always be sure to let her know she can go and get away from you and all that shit like that. Like going in there and trying to intentionally form a relationship, especially in a place like that, is going to look, in my opinion, it's going to look pretty fucking desperate. Um, so like with the ones that I knew in there, right? Like there was never any sense of me like wanting to be friends with any of them, none of that, right? They would always they would always end up coming and picking me. Like for example, with the girl I had in back in Dayton, Ohio, right? The pretty young girl who, dude, I tell you, if guys knew she was sucking dick for $10, she would be a millionaire in a week, dude. I'm telling you. This was back before the days of OnlyFans and all this shit like that. Like, so women didn't know they can, get $100 out of man like that. A lot of women didn't know that back then. But the thing was, she has started getting attached to me. Like and then every girl in her circle that I would end up, messing with for whatever reason, or driving, whatever the fuck, they would end up wanting to come, like going out their way to call me to want to come with me. Right. I never chose them to want to be friends with. What I've learned is that it doesn't work that way. Right. Very rarely does it work out where the man goes out and makes the signal that he wants to be with a woman, and then it all works out well. That very rarely works out. What you really want is in some way that woman, if that woman does not break down and show some sign that she's comfortable and she wants to be around you, then in my opinion she's at that, all she is a pup and dump at that point. But Kevin, what I say is just walk around, hang out, talk, and chill out, and just chill, right? Because at the end of the day, all women want is just to be is is to feel like they can just go type of thing, right? That's all they want in that initial standpoint of like initially going out and and meeting a new person, or going out walking to the shoe store or whatever the fuck, right? All they want is just to sit down and be able to go right. Right, at least in that beginning part. Now and there's a demographic of women who like to be told what to do and directed from early on, sure. But overall, like in my opinion, in a place like a brothel, you'd be much safer off just going there chilling, and just talk to her. I'm not saying don't talk to a woman, but let me make it sure that she's free to go, type of shit, right? Like I don't need, you don't need her. You just wouldn't mind her company, right? And if she don't want to be there, then just walk away and just do your own thing. But the extra benefits thing, yeah, that's really just up to the girl and how she's gonna feel, right? Because here's the thing, if you go in there and you intentionally try to do that, now she's gonna know she has a bigger fool, right? If you go to a place like a brothel where they want money out of your pocket to rub on them, and you go in there trying to, like, if she could sense that out, now she knows she just has a bigger fool. But yeah, I've seen girls laughing and mocking guys who were heartbroken over them. It was disgusting. Oh yeah, August line, yeah, yeah. There's nothing worse than a man crying over a woman or being mentally distraught. There's nothing worse than that on earth to a woman. A man who's crying and distraught and like, I can't think without you. I can't sleep without you. Yeah. That shit only works in movies, dude. That don't work in real life. Real life, that shit don't work. Would you recommend seeing the same brothel girl or seeing different ones? Okay, so Kevin, how that works is, from my experience, how that works is, um, let's say you went to one, right? And there was a girl you really liked. Now, sometimes a girl just may not like you. This and she has a right to do this, right? She has a right to just not like you for any reason, just because she just didn't like the way your lips looked. It's within her right, or just like you have the right not to like a woman because of the way her hair looks, right? Whatever. But here that but this what I've witnessed is this is if for whatever reason y'all ain't gelling right, like y'all ain't got chemistry, or maybe she just don't like you or whatever, and if you keep coming back and they know that you like that girl, and if that girl has communicated them like that she really because that girl's gonna go tell somebody if you were either really good or really bad, like she's going like they gonna talk about you, right? They gonna know about you. See, women, they are very close with this type of shit. Like they gonna you motherfuckers gonna know about you, right? So if for whatever reason y'all ain't gelling and they know and some guys they may not get the message, or maybe they just didn't know, right? Because she was good at hiding the fact that she was uncomfortable or whatever. It happens, right? But if a guy keeps coming up there, what'll happen is they'll just tell the guy that she's not there today, right? And then maybe text her and tell her to have her door closed because the guy's here, and they'll write her when the guy leaves, some shit like that, right? See, scenarios like this, which is what I witnessed, by the way. Scenarios like this is why I tell you, like, never feel sorry for a woman in the dating world, because every woman is with the exact guy she wants to be with, right? If she doesn't want to be with that man, she knows how to get away from him. Every woman knows. Every woman knows how to get away from that guy they don't want to be around. So any woman out there getting her ass beat, she's being pimped out, that she's being forced to take drugs and all that. Look, that woman is there because she wants to be there, right? Right. Um. But yeah, that's just how it is. That's because very rarely will a woman just say she just doesn't. Most women don't want to just say they don't like you. No, and here's a reality. Not many people want to be the one to come out and say, I don't like you, a man or a woman. It's just a difficult thing. Like it's I think I was watching Howard Stern. I think when Erica Durance was on there, was on the girl who played Lois on Smallville. And she was saying how her and Howard Stern were talking about, I think it was Erica Durance. They were talking about how, like, let's say like when motherfuckers are like trying to rape a woman type of shit. Like it's a crazy dynamic. It's a crazy dynamic that happens that people, many people on earth don't want to say no so bad that they would rather just be raped instead of actually just say no, or just like, do some shit, right? They would just take it instead of having to be the one to be the rejector. Like, being the rejector is hard, right? That's just wild. It's hard. But um yeah, so where I was going with that, yeah, so with women, women or men, like, they don't want to be the one to have to say it. Like, very few people want to be the one that has to say it, right? Because nobody wants to hurt somebody else's feelings like that. Usually by the time they do, they're gonna explode because they've been holding on to it too long, and they're gonna do something wild and crazy, right? So like, but yeah, and so in a world like a brothel, something's bound to happen like that. But like I said, the best way to just deal with women in general is to always make sure that you're not signaling in any kind of way that she can't leave or something like that. Always be like, okay, yeah, go ahead, go, bye, and leave her, right? I'll tell you what, try this. Any woman in your life, tell her to just leave, and watch how she gonna respond. Women literally, like, once you tell them to leave, now they biologically have to stay. Like, they can't take rejection. Any woman in your life, your aunt, mom, whatever. Tell tell her like she's gonna be heartbroken because of that. And most can't do it. Even if it's in the bed. Me and my girl, we do that sometimes. Like I do it with her. Right. I'll tell her like I'll be like, oh no, I'm fine. I'm fine. You can leave. And she'll have like catch the train, right? She'll be running late to catch the train. And I'll be like, oh yeah, come on. Yeah, come on. Okay, here you go. Okay, yeah, just leave. And she'll be like, just leave. Like she, like they can't help it, man. It's just them. They can't women cannot handle that rejection. She can't handle it. Kevin says, wait, was it Javi says there's a video of a pimp telling young men to get with a woman who likes you and not with a girl that you like. Oh yeah. Well, yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Was that the one where he said like marry the one you don't like? Because if you marry the woman you like, you gonna let her get away with all types of shit that you would never let anybody get away with. And that's real shit. Yeah. Marry the one that likes you. Don't marry the one that you like. Because if you like her, she gonna use you up. I'm gonna get off here in a minute because I'm gonna be on for an hour. Can you explain the psyche behind men who live out the typical life of get an education, get a good job, get married, buy a house, and forever be a workhorse for his wife? Well, a lot of that's just social. A lot of that's going to be social programming, man. Because all that's just, it's like, well, what do I do at 18? People just don't know. I mean, like, you don't know what to do when you're 18. So all you do is look around you and see what everybody else approves of, and then just do that, right? That's just, I think a lot is just social programming. Because here's the thing, because there are bad boys who do all this stuff. There are guys who who get an education, get a good job, get married, and they stay bad boys. It happens for sure. It happens. But I think in order to get to that point, it has to be like one or two extremes. Um, the one extreme is the guy never grew up, and the other extreme is the guy grew up. Right. I think everybody in the middle are the ones who never really fully like accepted what they were or what they weren't, and kind of tried to play the safe zone of like, doing it type of shit for one reason or another. I'm not saying they're bad or anything like that, but it was, for one reason or another. But I think again, for the ones who can maintain that bad boyishness after going off and being, relatively speaking, successful, I think it breaks up into two categories. One, the guy grew up, or the other, the guy never grew up. Because once you grow up, here's the thing: as a man, once you grow up, I mean, really, really, okay. First off, let's take the man who didn't grow up, right? Let's say the man who didn't grow up, but his family was always hard on for education, so he knew he had to go to school, but he was always kind of a troublemaker and the drugs, whatever. But he graduates because all his family graduated, so he had that pressure to graduate. So he graduates, he goes out, becomes an attorney or whatever the fuck, or an engineer, whatever, and he kind of maintains his bad boyness, right? Well, a part of him, okay, and this guy, typically what happens is the guy never really, really, really grew up because he was always kind of relying on his family or relying on, whatever, right? He never grew off to that next, what's the word I'm looking for, that next jump in life. Now, that guy versus the guy who grew up, right? Like, say, like in my position, the position I'm in life, right? I don't even think I'm not a bad boy though. I don't. Well, depends on who you ask and their perspective, but I don't think I'm a bad boy. But I'll say my perspective is this: no matter what path you gonna pick, you gonna have good days, bad days, broke days, rich days. No matter what path you pick, I'm that side that grew up and can see that I'm not in control of any of this. Right? You're not in control of anything in your life. Bill Gates ain't in control of his life. Donald Trump is not in control. All motherfuckers gotta do is realize they don't like him 1 minute and cut all his shit off, and he gonna be sitting in a homeless shelter. Now you can try, be strategic with what you got. I'm not saying don't try to be strategic, but it's that being aware and acceptance that yeah, man. You know how many motherfuckers go out there and make millions a year and then end up in life crippling gambling debts and or just lost their job or end up with one wrong lawsuit that took everything they had from them and drove them into a nervous breakdown and living in a homeless shelter buying red pop, which I have a personal example of that because I knew a guy in a homeless shelter who that happened to when I was living in Dayton, Ohio, and I was in college. His name was Ralph. He was an accountant, and he went crazy. He went crazy because his family died in a fire, and he got home right when he got home, like the house was on fire, and his family was in it, and they died. He had kids. He had a wife and kids. He was a well-off attorney. They died, and he ain't been right since. I remember because he came up to me and asked me because I remember while I was in a homeless shelter, I was hustling pops and honey buns and shit like that. Like go to the dollar store, right, and buy some honey buns for like $1 and selling for like 50 cents a piece at the homeless shelter type of shit. I think I sold for like 25. I don't know what I know. My idea was selling for like 50 cents a piece, but I remember I ended up just employing these two young dudes to sell them for me while I go off to college. I say, look, I just want like $5 a day from this section of food, that section of food I brought. And they said, deal. And that's what happened. They would just give me, so I don't know what they actually sold it for. They could have made $20 a day and just gave it. I just wanted some stable income coming in because we was all in the homeless shelter. But, he came up to me and asked. I remember one time I had to stand there. Something happened. I had to stand at the table with the shit on the table. And he came up asking me for a pop, and he was like, "Can I have a pop?" This grown ass man with a beard, right? "Can I have a pop?" I was like, "Yeah, what kind you want?" He goes, and then this black dude came over in the home. He was a cool dude too. He came over and said, hey, Ralph, which one you want? He goes, the red one. You want a red Fago? I gave it to him, sold it to him. But he was fucked up. He was never right after that, man. That's the you know, like I tell my dad, man, like when I talk to my dad about this shit, like, because he's 70 now, man. Like, yo, and it's just reality. Like, one of us is gonna die first between me and my dad, right? That's guaranteed, right? So the thing is, and I remember I was walking with my son and I was talking to him on the phone. And we was talking about, I was telling him stories that I hear about people who they can't wait till their parents die so they can get their inheritance and all that shit like that. Like, I'm like, yo, like that inheritance, whatever you get, you know how many motherfuckers get an inheritance and end up hooked on drugs or but then gamble it away in 2 months and left with now they ain't got no money and they parents. Right? Like, I ain't wishing that you die. No. Because knowing I can call somebody and have a conversation with somebody who knows me is more important than me taking your house and cars. As far as I'm concerned, that the house and cars is going to be more of a problem for me, right? That ain't worth that. That's a bad trade-off. Cause see, right now I know I can call him. I know I can call somebody that's on my side, right? But when he's gone, I ain't got nobody I can call. Not like a parent, right? I don't want that. I mean, I don't want that much. If I had to pick, I'd rather the person. I've heard, dealt with, spoke with people who had people who died and left them a shitload of money, and motherfuckers who really they said no, I rather had a person instead of that money. But yeah. So where that whole rant went off of was from yeah, there's two different guys who become bad boys. One who never grew up, and the other one who fully did and realized that. And okay, scenarios I always talk about, like, let's say you go to the shopping mall, right, and you decide to just okay, no matter what you do in life, there's going to be somebody who's going to love you, and there's going to be somebody who's going to hate you for whatever it is, right? If you decide to go in the middle of the shopping mall and just pull your dick out and start jacking off, right? Some motherfuckers gonna be like, oh my God. And other people gonna be like, yo, that motherfucker is wild. Like, that's people gonna be like, damn, I wish I had the courage to pull my dick out and jack off in the middle of the no matter what you do. Right? no matter what you do. Okay, you going out there, pull your dick out and jacking off in the middle of the mall will fuck around and lead to you. Let's play a reality story. You go in the mall, do that, right? And get arrested. Let's play a realistic story and get arrested, right? You get arrested and you go out of jail. You go to jail and you got to go to a court hearing at the fucking county house, right? You go to the county house in the court hearing and you sitting down with all these other motherfuckers. Now, when you go to that county house sitting with all these other motherfuckers, you get to talking to another dude who fucking sells cars, but he looking for somebody who got the courage to get out there and do something and sell some of these expensive cars. Well, guess what? You now crossed that bridge because you jacked off in public. And then y'all get to talking. And he's like, "Yeah, like, hey man, I tell you what, look, here's my car, man. Call me." Next thing you know, you can now you got a 6-figure job selling Ferraris, right? It can happen like that. It can happen like that, right? But if you didn't go out there and take that first step, okay, that would have never became a thing, right? So again, it's that thing. Like no matter what you do, there's gonna be people who gonna love you, and there's gonna be people who gonna hate you for it. Even if you walk around and try to be nice and try not to hurt anybody, somebody's still gonna love you for it and hate you for it, right? The odds never change, right? No matter what you do. If you go out there and try to fake smile and get a degree in the most basic of degrees you can get and get the most basic job, there's gonna be somebody who's gonna love that about you for whatever reason, and somebody's gonna hate you because you did the most basic shit. You're not gonna please everybody. If anything, the odds are gonna stay the same. Now, and I think this next part is a big area that will open up the immediate discouraging facts, right? Because discouraging fact is going to say, well, hey, AD, I want to get into movie making, but I live in fucking Dayton, Ohio. Well, okay, you got to get out of Dayton, Ohio. You got to get out of Dayton, Ohio, right? Because what I used to say before is location is usually going to be the biggest downfall of most people. The location, especially men, when it comes to dating, right? The location of where you are is going to be what's going to dictate your overall luck in anything. Let's just call it luck. That's going to because women can always get into something just because they're a woman, but you as a man, no, you okay. You got to get out that location, right? You trying to be a motherfucking okay. If let's say you like to play basketball, well, if you trying to play basketball in motherfucking Texas or California or in most of the United States, your chances of playing on any professional level are going to be slim to none because that American basketball competition has always been high on a massive scale, right? But you fuck around, come to Europe, like an old friend of mine, he got signed at 35 on a European pro basketball team. That motherfucker got signed at 35. In America, that's when you on your way out. It's the location of where you are. What's up, Mr. Smith? Your fate is already decided and determined by your genetics. I don't know. Why do women claim it's hard to leave their abusive boyfriend, husband, and stay for years or decades? I understand some stay because Stockholm syndrome, but I think a lot of them like it. Oh yeah, no, that's just it, Javi. They do like it. They do like it because that woman who's getting beat up. See, why is it coincidentally, you don't hear there's never any story of a woman who just can't leave a really nice man, right? Why is there never any women's articles about that? How come women just can't leave? He's just so nice. I just can't leave him. He's just so nice. He cooks, he cleans for me, he worships the ground I walk on. He tells me I'm beautiful every morning. I just can't leave him. Oh my God, I need help. I can't leave him. Right? Well, there's not one woman's issue problem ever with that. And one other thing I found is usually by the time here's the thing, by the time a woman will actually call the police on a man who's doing this, usually it's for more times than not, it's because the woman's trying to plot on the man to get him in trouble, and the man didn't even hit her at all, right? But the other extreme, which I think is a far smaller percentage, is the guy literally almost killed her. But by the time a woman is getting that openly outspoken about it, it's usually because okay, one, she's probably orchestrated the relationship to the point where the guy just gets like blows his lid for like the smallest of shit because she's just dumb as fuck and doesn't listen to shit. Right. Okay. This goes back to what I was saying earlier. Nobody wants to be the rejector, right? Nobody wants to be the rejector. So what women will do is if they don't want to be there for whatever reason, they'll start plotting ways to make it look like it was all the man's fault. Right. When it comes to that domestic abuse shit, the women who are truly getting domestically abused don't leave. They don't even make a fucking an effort to truly leave. Maybe physically leave for a little while, but to mentally, no, don't even make a true effort. The women who are truly getting beat up. The ones you hear about are the women, usually are the women who, no, she orchestrated that to make it look like it was all him. That way she had an excuse to leave. I wish psychologists would talk about this taboo subject. Oh, well, because here's the thing. If they did, that would mean that women would be wrong. And here's the thing. No woman wants to be told she's wrong. So they're gonna lose all that money from them women. So you can't tell her she's wrong. He bought me flowers every day and paid off my student loans. I just can't leave him. Yeah. You never hear those stories. Never. Not once. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here, man. I've been on about an hour. Man, I got a fucking sinus headache, man. Like, cause the weather is it's getting hot again. Or it's warmer than it was. Not hot, but it's warmer. It's warmer than it was today. But yeah, so I can't even talk that much longer. So I'm out of here, man. Yo, y'all have a good day. You tonight, and I catch y'all out later, man. Peace out.